Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And this is our latest character build, the Whirling Dervish. Yes, at the end of this build, we are going to be able to attack 9 times in one round. So this is a Monk Fighter build. We are going to be basing this off of Nick and Vex, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. So we got a lot to go over. We got a lot to talk about. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned. All right, before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and don't forget to share this video. And I want to point out the 2 adventures that I have written so far. They're up on Dungeon Masters Guild. The first one is The Vault of the Worm, Tensions in Baldur's Gate. It is optimized for 3rd level characters. And the other adventure that I've written is The Painted Rock, A Quest to Prove Yourself, optimized for 4th level characters, Both great adventures, awesome adventures. Check them out, Dungeon Masters Guild. The links are below. All right, let's get into this build. I got a PowerPoint set up here. We're going to bring the cursor over here so I can go through it. We're going to come up to the first slide here. And here is the first slide here. So we are going to use, for our race/species, we are going to use the Earth Genasi, and we're going to use the Origin Manager for ability scores of a +2 and a +1. We get Blade Ward from this species, so let's talk about that just a little bit. I've got the Earth Genasi right here, so we are going to be getting size medium. We're a humanoid. We've got a 30-foot walking speed. We get dark vision, 60 feet, which is great. We can move across difficult terrain without expending extra movement, and this character's got a ton of movement by the end of this. So don't have to worry about difficult terrain if we're using our walking speed on the ground or a floor. So like rubble and things like that, don't have to worry about it. And then we've got this Merge with Stone, which is, the Blade Ward cantrip. You can cast it as normal, so it's a cantrip, and it's the new Blade Ward, which is really important. That's a D4 off of a 2-hit roll, and it lasts for a minute, so that's awesome. You can cast it as normal, or you can cast it as a bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. This spell got a massive bump. At 5th level, we're going to get Pass Without Trace. So those are a couple of things that we're getting off of that. We are going to take the Wayfarer background. We're taking Insight and Acrobatics with that. We're taking the Lucky Origin feat, of course, because we want luck. Who doesn't want free rolls at advantage to hit and things like that? And we're also taking, we get Thieves' Tools with this. We're using the 27-point buy build, which gives us a 12 strength, a 17 dex. It's a 15 dex, but we get the +2 from the initial build, so it becomes a 17. We're getting a 12 con and 11 wisdom. We're getting a 11 intelligence, a 15 wisdom. That's a 14. We get the +1 from the initial build, and then we're taking a charisma 8. This character is not going to be a face. They're not doing charisma. We're starting out with a spear, 5 daggers, cartographer's tools, explorer's pack, and 11 gold pieces. So we're not taking the gold piece. We're taking this because we're not really going to use any of the weapons in this. We don't need armor with this build at all. And at 1st level, we are taking the monk. We are going to have a 15 armor class and a proficiency bonus of +2. So with the monk at 1st level, and let's take a look at that. So here is the monk right here. We've got primary abilities of Dex and Wisdom, D8 for hit points, Strength and Dex, saving throw proficiencies, which is great. And we get, I think I chose Acrobatics and Stealth. And then we get simple weapons and martial weapons that have the light property. That's really important because all the weapons we are going to take with this, like I said, we're basing this off of Nick and Vex, and we're taking weapons that have those masteries that have the light property as well. And then we're getting our artisan's tools, so that's going to be the cartographer tools and things like that. So a first level monk gets martial arts and unarmored defense, and that's where we get our 15 armor class. So if you look here at unarmored defense, it's a 10 plus dex, which is 3 right now, plus wisdom is 2. So that's where we are with this build. And our primary attack at this point is unarmed strike. So plus 2 for proficiency bonus, plus 3 for our dex bonus. It does a d6 plus 3. And then we get a bonus action unarmed strike for an average damage right now of 7.52. So let's go here. And we're going to go to second level. And at second level, we're taking another level of monk. Our proficiency bonus is still plus 2. Our AC is still a 15. Now we are adding 2 because we're probably going to have some gold, things like that. So we're going to add 2 scimitars and a set of thieves' tools. Now we get monk's focus, and we start with 2 focus points. And with that, we get flurry of blows, patient defense, step of the wind. So flurry of blows allows us to do 2 attacks, 2 unarmed strikes, with a bonus action. And you do not have to do an attack to use these. You can do the flurry of blows first or last or whenever. You can just do them. Patient defense and step of the wind allows us to do disengage and dash as bonus actions. And there's a few other things that you can do with that. Let's take a real quick look at that here with the monk. So here they are. You can expend 1 focus point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. Note, it does not say that you need to make an attack. Take the attack action to do that. Patient defense, disengage as a bonus action. Alternately, we can use a focus point to do disengage and dodge. And then we get step of the wind. We can take a dash as a bonus action. Or, alternatively, we can spend a focus point and we can take disengage and dash at the same time. We get unarmored movement, so our speed increases by 10. And we get uncanny metabolism. So when we roll initiative, we regain all expended focus points. When you do so, roll your martial arts die and regain another hit points equal to your monk level plus the number rolled. And then once we use this, we can't use it again until we finish a long rest. So those are big deals. Those are big deals. Essentially, that means your focus points they're kind of double. They're not really double. All right, and right now we're doing an unarmed strike. Still plus 5, 1d6 plus 3. Now we get 2 flurry of blows at 1d6 plus 3 for an average damage of 11.28. So let's go to third level. I got to look over here at this other screen to get the arrow. Third level, we're taking another level of monk. Our proficiency bonus is still plus 2, AC of 15. Now we get deflect attacks, which is a awesome, massive ability. Use your reflection. It's a D10 plus your, I believe it's a D10 plus your monk level. Let's take a look at the monk here. Deflect attacks. When an attack roll hits you and damage you, and it has to be bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, you do a D10 plus your dex modifier and your monk level. So right now, for this monk at third level monk, that is going to be a D10 plus 6. And if you reduce it to damage, you could use a focus point to possibly do some damage to the other thing. I never use this part of it. I always use the first part of it, which is just mind-blowing. It is. I use it so much, and when the monk gets really high level, it really, really lowers the damage. Then we get Warrior of the Open Hand, and right now the DC for our saving throws is 8, plus our proficiency bonus, plus our wisdom bonus. So it's 8 plus 2 is 10, plus another 2 for wisdom is 12, and then we get 3 focus points at this level. Warrior of the Open Hand is probably my favorite monk subclass. So we start out with the first thing, which is called Open Hand Technique. And when you hit a creature with an attack granted by your flurry of blows, so we don't have to use a bonus action to do this, To use any of these three things, we just have to do the flurry of blows. And whenever we hit them with it, remember we get 2 of these, we can put one of these things on them. So you can impose one of the following effects. Addle. The target cannot make opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. That's just flat out. Just cannot do it. Push. The target must succeed on a saving throw or be pushed up to 15 feet away. So that's a strength saving throw. That one's a little harder to do. And topple. Deck save, or they are prone, which gives us advantage. So those are all great things, and they're free. They're free as long as you use your flurry of blows, and we are planning on using our flurry of blows a lot. And right now, again, our average damage is going to be 11.28. So let's go to the next slide here. 4th level, we're taking our 1st level in Fighter. Proficiency bonus is still +2. AC is still 15, and we're wearing no armor. We're taking the 2-weapon fighting style, which allows us to add our attribute modifier, which is going to be Dex, to our offhand. We get Second Wind. We get Weapon Mastery. We're taking 3 different weapons. Scimitar, which gives us Nick, and that is going to be one of our major things. A short sword, which gives us Vex, and a dagger, which gives us Nick. We're not going to be using the dagger. So what did those 3 things do? Well, let's look at the fighter first. So we just took a 1st level fighter. So we're getting the fighting style, which is the 2-weapon fighting, which allows us to add our dex bonus. We're taking the Second Wind, which is another way to heal ourselves. In addition to our monk has a little bit of healing. So you have a limited well. You can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level, and we can use this twice. And we gain 1 expended use after a short rest. Then we get Weapon Mastery, which we took those 3 weapons. Now, what did those 3 weapons give us? So we took a dagger. It's a finesse light thrown weapon. And it gives us the Nick feat, or the Nick Weapon Mastery, I'm sorry. But we're not really going to be using that. We are going to be using a scimitar. Now, we can use a scimitar because it is a light weapon, and monks can use light weapons. And it has the Nick property, the Nick Mastery, and the finesse and light properties. So the light property allows us to make a attack. When we do the attack action, we can make 1 extra attack as a bonus action on the same turn. It's got to be with a different weapon. However, if it has Nick, that extra attack is made as part of the attack action and not as a bonus action. And then we have a short sword. So in our right hand, we've got a scimitar, and in our left hand, we've got a short sword, which also is finesse and light, but it has Vex. So we're going to hit with the scimitar, which is going to trigger the Nick Mastery, and then that's going to allow us to use our short sword in the other hand. And then when we hit with the short sword, you'll have advantage on your next attack roll against the creature. Remember, we have our bonus action now, which can be used for our flurry of blows, which means the first blow of that flurry of blows is going to have advantage. So here we go. So now we've got a scimitar in one hand, we've got a short sword in the other hand. Our primary attack sequence is now going to be short sword, which does a d6 plus 3. And this number right here is equal to our unarmed strike number. So we do, that damage right there comes from monk. So let's look back at the monk here. And if we go all the way back up to the monk, and we go to our martial arts die, you can roll a d6 in place of the normal damage of your unarmed strike or your monk weapons. And monk weapons are any weapon that is a martial melee weapon that has the light property, or simple melee weapons. But we're using a short sword, which has the light property, and we're using a scimitar, which has the light property. So there they are right there. Scimitar in the right hand, and then the Nick activates, the mastery property of the scimitar activates, which allows us to use our short sword in the other hand. And then we use our bonus action to do 2 flurry of blows. We're going to kick or knee or something like that. So on average now, we're going to be doing 16.66 damage. Okay? And because we've got the 2 weapon fighting style here, we get this +3, which is our dex, because these are finesse weapons. All right. So that is 4th level. At 5th level, we're going to be taking another level of fighter. So we're a 2nd level fighter, and our proficiency bonus goes to +3. Our AC goes to 16, and our open hand DC is now a 13. And that is because our proficiency bonus has gone up and a few other things. So we get action surge, we get tactical mind, and then the earth genasi we get pass without trace. We're taking a cloak of protection, so that's where our AC goes up. And then our open hand DC goes up because our proficiency bonus went up. So action surge allows us a couple of times a day to take an extra action, which is massive. And then we get that from the fighter, of course. And tactical mind, so let's take a look at that. So here's action surge right here. On your turn, you can take 1 additional action except the magic action. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. We're not going to be 17th level, so we don't have to worry about that. And then tactical mind allows us, when we fail an ability check, you can expend a second wind to push yourself towards success. So rather than regaining hit points, we add the D10 to an ability check. It's something that's nice. It's not, the most fantastic thing. We're also adding a +1 scimitar and a +1 short sword. We're 5th level, so we might as well have some magic items. And then the cloak of protection. So that gives us a +1 to saving throws and a +1 to AC. Here's our primary attack sequence, which now is 4 attacks. Scimitar in the primary hand. Nick activates, and we use short sword. If we hit, Vex activates, and we get, then we use our bonus action to do flurry of blows. The first attack on flurry of blows is at advantage because the Vex on the short sword activated. And we're now up to 19.88 average damage as a 5th level character. And this is not with action surge. This is just, we're using our points for flurry of blows, our focus points. And we can get those, essentially, we're going to be, I think we have 4 of those now. So we're going. Okay. So next level, which is 6th level, what are we taking? We're taking our last level of fighter because we want to get the fighter subclass. And we're taking Battle Master. And at this point, our DC is 14. Now, Battle Master, if we go here, gives us a few things. It gives us combat superiority. It gives us these maneuvers. So we get to choose 3 maneuvers. And we get superiority dice. So we get 4 D8s. And we regain all of our superiority dice when we finish a short or long rest. And the saving throw for this is 8 plus your strength or your dex modifier, your choice, and we're of course going to choose dexterity, and your proficiency bonus. So this is great. And then we get Student of War. So you gain proficiency with 1 artisan's tools. So we can choose like Smith's tools or something. And you gain proficiency in a skill of your choice. And I can't remember which one I took for this, but we did perception. That's what we did. It said Student of War right there. There's Battle Master. There's our 4 D8s. We took maneuvering attack. So when we attack, we can cause one of our allies to be able to move half their speed. I think as a reaction, we can take menacing attack, which causes the recipient that is hit. They take a D8 point of damage. We spend the die, and they have to make a wisdom saving throw, or they are frightened. And then we take a trip attack. Obviously, they do a strength saving throw, and if they fail, they are prone. And I think the menacing attack only lasts for a round. Till the end of your next turn. So, and we can do that 4 times if we want to. Maneuvering attack Creature can use its reaction move up to half its speed without provoking an attack or opportunity. So there's a lot of maneuvering in this that's really good. And we didn't really change any of our damage or anything. So remember, this is without action surge, and this is without those Battle Master dice. So it's still 19.88. All right, so let's go to 7th level. We're done with Fighter. We're going back to Monk. 4th level Monk. So our proficiency bonus is still +3. Our AC is going to go up because we're taking Sentinel. So as a 4th level Monk, we get Slow Fall. And we also get an attribute bonus or a feat. We're taking Sentinel, which we're going to give ourselves +1 to Dex. And we have 4 focus points. So because our Dex went up, our open hand DC now goes to 15, and our Battle Master DC now goes to 15. Our primary attack damage and our primary attack sequence changes a little bit because our DC went up. So it's Scimitar +8. So our AC is now, our dexterity is 18, which is a +4. And then our proficiency bonus is a 3, that's 7, and it's a +1 Scimitar, so that's 8. And then we do 1d6 +5 damage, 4 from Dex, 1 from the Scimitar. So we hit with the Scimitar. Nick activates on the Scimitar, which allows us to use the Short Sword. And the Short Sword gets the bonus to damage because we have 2-weapon fighting. We make our Short Sword attack. If we hit, we have Vex, which gives our first Flurry of Blows attack a advantage. And at this point, where Flurry of Blows are at a +7, not a +8, because we don't have anything magical on them. And our average damage now is 24.25 because the damage went up from our dexterity bump. Okay, and we get Slow Fall, which allows us to get around. Sentinel will allow us to walk up to something and prevent it from moving. So if they try to move or they try to attack, we get an attack and we can actually stop them from moving, which is just an awesome feat. I took it because it's one of the ones that gives us a bump to Dex, and it is one of the ones that allows us to go. And we got a 17 armor class at this point, so I'm okay with that. All right, 8th level, we are adding a level of Monk, so we're 5th level Monk. Our AC is going to 19 because we're adding Bracers of Defense. We're also adding Wraps +1. So these are unarmed Wraps. We get an extra attack as a 5th level Monk, which is awesome. Our Monk damage goes to a D8, so all of our attacks go to a D8 because all these weapons are Monk weapons. And we get 5 focus points. So here is our primary attack sequence. Again, it's Scimitar and Scimitar. We get 2 Scimitar attacks now because we have extra attack. And if you look at the Monk, right here, all the way down, extra attack, you can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action. Doesn't say what those attacks are specifically. It just says you can attack twice. So we're going to attack with our primary weapon, which is a Scimitar, and we get to attack twice. One of those is going to activate Nick, which means we can use the Short Sword as part of the attack action. That'll be last. Then Vex will trigger, which will allow our first Flurry of Blows to go off at advantage if we hit. So it's a +8, 1d8 +5, +8, 1d8 +5. Nick attack with the Short Sword. The Short Sword is now doing a d8 because it is a Monk weapon. And then we've got Flurry of Blows at +8 at a 1d8 +5 because we've got the Wraps of unarmed strikes at +1. Average damage now is 36.3 at 8th level. That's without the maneuver dice, and that is without action surge. That's only with Flurry of Blows. And we got 5 Flurry of Blow points right now, which is awesome. Okay, what are we doing at 9th level? At 9th level, we're adding another level of Monk. So we're a 9th level Monk. Proficiency bonus goes to +4. AC is still 19. So for a 6th level Monk, we get a movement bonus of +15 feet instead of 10 feet. We get Empowered Strikes. So Empowered Strikes essentially just make our strikes magical. They do force damage instead of normal damage, but we have magical wraps on, so that doesn't really matter. We get wholeness of body, which is a open hand ability, and we gain an ability to heal ourselves. As a bonus action, you can roll a martial arts die. You gain a number of hit points equal to the number rolled plus your wisdom modifier. That's it. And we can use this a number of times equal to our wisdom. Right now, which is just +2. So that's another, if we need it, we can use it. It's not massive amounts of healing. We got 6 focus points, and our attack sequence now is scimitar, Nick attack, short sword, which triggers Vex, and then we do flurry of blows. And our damage now is a 38.7. All right, what are we doing at 10th level? At 10th level, taking a Monk 7. Proficiency bonus +4, AC 19. We get evasion at this point. Awesome ability. Very few abilities better than that. If we make a saving throw, a dex saving throw, we don't take any damage. And we get 7 focus points. That's basically it. Not a lot changing here. Just the focus points in the evasion. The primary sequence is still scimitar, Nick attack with the short sword, Vex, and then flurry of blows twice. So we're attacking 5 times, and it's still 38.7 for our average damage without maneuver dice and without any of the action surge. Okay, at 11th level, we are a Monk 8. And our AC now goes up to 21. We're increasing the scimitar to a +2, a short sword to a +2, and the wraps to a +2. We're getting a ring of protection and insignium claws. And because we're a Monk 8, we're taking that ability increase this time, and our dex is going up by 2 to 20. So our AC went up 2 because of ring of protection and because of the dex. So that's a really important thing. We got 8 focus points, and our damage is going to go up because the dex went up and because the bonus on the magic weapons all went up at the same time too. So we've got scimitar, Nick short sword, which activates Vex, and then we've got our flurry of blows. So we still got 5 attacks. This is still without action surge, and this is still without any of the maneuver dice. But our average damage now goes up to a 53.62, which is massive. All right, 12th level. We're going to take another level of Monk at Monk 9. Our AC is going to 22. Our AC is a 22 because we're adding some new items. So we're 12th level, so we might as well have some really, really good stuff. Boots of Elvenkind, uncommon item. Doesn't require any attunement. It's going to allow us to move silently, sound-wise. Ring of Fire resistance, because why not? And then we're getting a Tomb of Understanding, which increases our wisdom by 2. So our wisdom goes from 15 to 17. That's why our AC goes up, because anytime wisdom or dex go up, then our AC goes up. Our Monk DC is also going to go up because of that. And we're taking 2 potions of speed. That's really super important because the potions of speed allow us to have haste. I like those. It's okay. It's a haste spell for a minute, which is good, which is going to allow us to have an extra attack. But we're not moving that in yet. And as a monk, we get 9 focus points and acrobatic movement. So let's take a look at acrobatic movement, which is all the way down here. I forgot to say Stunning Strike. We have Stunning Strike. I don't really use Stunning Strike very much because it eats up focus points, and you hardly ever see something that fails that Constitution saving throw. It happens from time to time. It's not my favorite ability. Acrobatic movement. While we're not wearing armor or wielding a shield, which we're not, you gain the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids. So, it's just something that looks cool for the monk. And our attack sequence is going to look like this. Scimitar, Nick attack with a short sword for Vex, and then 2 flurry of blows. Again, same thing, and our damage is a 53.62. The level before this, the damage was a 53.62. So that really hasn't changed. We got some new magic items, and we got a couple of cool abilities. That's about it. Our DCs went up. Lots of good stuff. All right, at 13th level, we're taking another level of monk. So we're a 10th level monk. Our proficiency bonus goes up to +5. So the monk DC and the fighter DC both go up. We're at 10 focus points. We get heightened focus, which is one of our capstone abilities that we really, really want. We get self-restoration, and our move goes to 20 feet. So heightened focus, what is that? Well, Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind, all three change. So now when we expend a focus point to use Flurry of Blows, we make 3 unarmed strikes instead of 2. So that's a whole extra attack. And remember, we're way of the open hand. So anytime we hit something with Flurry of Blows, we can addle them, we can knock them down, or we can push them away. With Patient Defense, when you expend a focus point, you use Patient Defense, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2 rolls. It's just a little bit of extra, like almost healing. And then Step of the Wind, this one's important because we probably will be using this. When you expend a focus point to Step of the Wind, you can choose a willing creature within 5 feet of you that is large or smaller. You move the creature with you until the end of your turn. The creature's movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity or opportunity attacks. So that's a massive ability because we're going to be using that kind of as a freebie with an ability we're going to get as Warrior of the Open Hand. Our attack sequence isn't really changing, although things change because our proficiency bonus went up and because we got an extra attack. So now instead of doing 5 attacks, we're doing 6 attacks. We get our 2 scimitar attacks, we get our short sword nick attack, and now we get 3 Flurry of Blows attacks. 68.7 is our average damage against an AC of 15 now. All right, 14th level, we're up to Monk 11, Fighter 3. Proficiency is the same, AC is the same, Monk DC is the same, Fighter DC is the same. We have 11 focus points, and now we get Fleet Step from Warrior of the Open Hand. So what does Fleet Step look like? And that's what I was talking about. So when you take a bonus action other than Step of the Wind, so guess what? Flurry of Blows it is a bonus action other than Step of the Wind. We can use Step of the Wind immediately after that bonus action. So as part of our attacks, we can take Step of the Wind immediately after that. And because we are a pretty bumpin' monk, we have this heightened focus Step of the Wind. So when you expend a focus point, so we can take Step of the Wind and we could use a focus point. So now we get to choose a creature in addition to come along with us, and we can use it for free, which means we can take the dash action. So we do all of our attacks, and then we take the dash action. And if we want to, we can spend a focus point as part of that to bring somebody with us. Pretty cool stuff, I must say. So here's our attack sequence right here. And it looks like this. Scimitar, scimitar, short sword, 3 Flurry of Blows. And our average damage is going to 73.92. Just awesome, awesome stuff. All right, 15th level. Here we go. And remember, again, this is all without maneuver dice, and this is all without using any action surge. 15th level, 12th level monk, proficiency bonus, AC, monk, DC, fighter DC is still the same. We have 12 focus points. So we can take an attribute. We don't really need to, we can't raise our dex anymore. I don't really care to raise our wisdom anymore. So we are going to take Mage Slayer. We're going to add a point to our strength because we have to. So this will now allow us, we've got Sentinel and Mage Slayer. So we can stand next to a mage. Every time we hit that mage, they're going to have to make a concentration check, and they're going to make it at disadvantage, which is just great. Just awesome. And then we can re-roll a saving throw against something like a charm spell. We're exchanging our scimitar to a +3, our short sword to a +3, and the wraps to a +3, which changes everything. So we're still at 6 attacks, And our average damage is now at an 81.63. Okay, that is the last level that we are going to talk about with this. What we are going to talk about now is a Nova round, and that is where we are going to add Action Surge and a Potion of Speed and the Battle Master maneuver dice. So with Action Surge and Potion of Speed added in, we get our 2 scimitar attacks, which activate Nick, which gives us our short sword attack. That's 3 attacks. We take a bonus action. We get our 3 flurry of blows attacks. That's 6 attacks. Then we action surge, and we do 2 unarmed strikes, because we can do unarmed strikes anytime we want, which is great. And they do the most damage. I forgot to say that our damage did go up because at Monk 12, I believe, let's go back up here to the table. At Monk 11, I'm sorry, our damage die went to a D10, and that is why our damage went up. So that is pretty awesome. So that means everything goes up to a D10. Everything went up to a D10 at this level right here. Right here. Everything went up to a D10. And so in the Nova round, 2 scimitar attacks, which activate Nick, which allows us to use our short sword. We got Vex on that one. We use our bonus action to do 3 flurry of blows, and then we use action surge. Now let's take a really close look at action surge, because that is very important. And on your turn, you can take 1 additional action except the magic item. It doesn't say you need to use a bonus action to do this. It just says take an additional action. That's it. So we can do that pretty much anytime we want. So we do our 3 flurry of blows, and then we action surge, and we get 2 more attacks because it's an extra attack action. And we get 2 attacks whenever we take the attack action. So we're doing 2 more unarmed strikes. So that is 8 attacks. And then haste will allow us to do an extra attack, which of course we're going to do an unarmed strike. So these are not flurry of blow unarmed strikes. They're just unarmed strikes, which means we can't use open hand stuff, because open hand stuff is only attached to flurry of blows. But, we've already used the flurry of blows. So we do these unarmed strikes because of haste and because of action surge. So that's 9 attacks. 2 scimitar attacks, a short sword attack, 3 flurry of blows attacks, 2 unarmed strikes with action surge, and an unarmed strike with haste. Our average damage for this is 123.93 points against an AC of 15. And if you use all of your Battle Master dice, which is 48, we got 141.93. Just a fantastic, fantastic class. Now, let's take a look at the actual character. Here's the actual character sheet. I put this together, and you can see here Earth Genasi, Monk 12, Fighter 3rd, Whirling Dervish, Monk Fighter, 20 dex, 17 wisdom, 96 not the greatest hit points in the world for a 15th level character, 22 armor class, but we also have Blade Ward. So that is a pretty massive thing. Now, this says Legacy. We're not using the Legacy Blade Ward. We're using the actual Blade Ward. So if we take a look at that, let's go back up to the top here, and we're going to go over to spells. And I just want to highlight this spell here, Blade Ward. Not Blade Barrier, but Blade Ward. Here it is right here. And we've gone over this spell. Concentration lasts for a minute. It's the only spell we got other than Pass Without Trace. So, I can concentrate on it. It's a cantrip. I can cast this forever. So we're always going to have Blade Ward on. And when a creature makes an attack roll against you before the end of the spell, that attack subtracts 1d4 from the attack. It doesn't go away after that. It just keeps going. So whenever a creature makes an attack, it subtracts a d4. So our armor class is actually Technically better than a 22. Technically, because of Blade Ward on all the time. Now it's a concentration, so we do have to concentrate on it. We could lose concentration, but that is, that is a thing. But here are all the actions: scimitar, short sword, unarmed strikes, and we've got a ton of these attacks. Here's our inventory: potion speed, +3 scimitar, +1, +3 short sword, wraps of unarmed power. I forgot to add that we have an insignia of claws. That's a really important one. That gives us another +1 to attack rolls and +1 to damage rolls on unarmed strikes, and natural weapons. And they're considered magical, but they already are. And then we got a ring of protection, our cloak of protection. Those are attuned items, in addition to the bracers of defense, which also is an attuned item, and the ring of fire resistance. So the character is pretty good. We've got a +12 to dex saves, and we have evasion, and we have a +8 to strength saves. So good luck trying to grapple this guy or knock him over. And we've got a +10 to acrobatics, a +10 to stealth, which we have advantage on because we have boots of elven kind, plus all kinds of other stuff. I mean, all the features and traits that this guy has are just insane, just absolutely insane. Here they all are. 2-weapon fighting, second wind, weapon master with scimitar, short sword, and dagger. We've got action surge, tactical mind, battle master. We've got the dice for combat superiority, student of war. We got our maneuvers, maneuvering attack, menacing attack, trip attack. We've got our monk stuff, martial arts. There's our die right there. It's a D10. You can make an unarmed strike as a bonus action, which we don't care about because we're going to be doing flurry of blows. You can use dex instead of strength for attack and damage for your unarmed strikes and monk weapons, and your monk weapons. And the D10 is for unarmed strikes and your monk weapons, which is any light weapon. And while we're wearing armor and not wielding a shield, our base armor class is 18, which is nasty. Monk's focus, we got 12 points. Flurry of blows, patient defense, step of the wind, unarmed. It goes on and on and on. And this is a big one right here, why I take open hand, because I get this with any one of those flurry of bow attacks. Slow fall, extra attack, stunning strike, on and on and on. And so this character is very tanky because they can have a very high armor class. They can be very sneaky. They can maneuver people and themselves around the battlefield because of all these different way of the open hand and step of the wind monk abilities that they have. And they do a massive amount of damage. All right. That is the video I have for everybody. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.